Hey guys, Preston here. Welcome back to another video. Today we are doing the post-game reaction to the Notre Dame versus Boston College game that happened this past Saturday. Sorry it's coming out a little later than usual. Been a little hectic again trying to get caught back up. There will be no Notre Dame preview this week. There wasn't one last week either, but this week there isn't one because, well, we're on a bye week, so I have nothing to preview. So Notre Dame gets the week off after this week off, and then we bounce back going on the road to Chapel Hill to play a pretty decent North Carolina team that will most likely, knock on wood, be our toughest game left on the regular season schedule. Today I'm rocking the Kelly Green Notre Dame book jersey. Just picked this up. Nice to see. I think we should wear this more, if I'm being honest. I really like this jersey. But hey, another addition to the collection, I guess. Send me all your Notre Dame jerseys. That's fine with me. Yeah, that's not going to happen, but what a man dream, right? Okay, so sorry. Notre Dame won this game 45-31. In reality, it wasn't that close. We gave up a garbage time touchdown and 2-point conversion to BC at the end in the fourth quarter with our backups in, as well as we also ended the game on the goal line about to score again. So really, the spread on this, it would have been a little wider than what it actually ended up being, but that's okay. Style points at this point. We're already the number 2 team in the country. We won't really go down unless we lose, of course, which don't want to happen. So really, just getting these wins is all that matters. Let's get into some of this stuff then, I guess, pros and cons wise. I mean, the offense put on another showcase again, putting up 45 points. That's what you like to see. Obviously, I think the defense could probably do a bit better job here. A bit of a better job here. They're a really good defense, in my opinion, from what we've seen from them. But these last 2 games, what was it, 40-something to Clemson, 31 to Boston College, isn't exactly what you want. But obviously, I'm nitpicking. We're undefeated. We won again. Calm down. But I am going to make criticisms. It's what these videos would be nothing if I had nothing to say. I have to nitpick. I have to talk about things that could come back to haunt us later. Because the reality is now we're a national title contending program, and if there's glaring mistakes, we got to fix them if we want to win anything. We can't fumble 3 times against Alabama. We can't give up 1,000 points against Alabama or Ohio State. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm going to talk about this stuff. So I'm not a fake fan or something that people freak out about all the time anytime you make a little criticism of the team. That drives me crazy, by the way. You're allowed to criticize your team if you're a fan of the team, just so you know. Don't be scared to. If anything, we're the people who are allowed to the most because we love the team. We follow the team. Constructive criticism. Your family members can say more about you than strangers can, right? If you're the same way with the teams, right? I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I'm going to criticize them. It's how it works. If I didn't care, I wouldn't criticize them. It's like, oh, we won again. Who cares? I watch every game. I watch every play, and I notice things that we can work on, and that's all it is. I'm not trying to say I'm better than any. I'm not like, obviously, Brian Kelly's a good coach. I trust him. I'm not trying to not fire Kelly, let me run the whole thing. But obviously, there's criticisms involved with stuff, and I feel like it's part of my job with these videos to point them out, so you're aware of them as well. So like I said, defense did a decent job, actually. I mean, especially later in the game, they kind of locked up. Gave up a touchdown in the second and third quarter. That's about it. Although my memory might be slipping me, it might be 2 field goals in the second instead of a touchdown. We'll check the stats later. But overall, not bad. Let's get into some of these stats, I guess. I'll probably focus more on the offense today because they did amazing, minus the 3 things we're going to talk about. 3 fumbles lost this game. Skronik fumbled. Tyree fumbled. Was it Williams that fumbled? I'm pretty sure there's 3 fumbles. I'll see what ESPN says. We turned it over 3 times. BC turned it over twice, so that was good. That we at least forced some turnovers. If I can get to these stats for you guys, I'm sorry. ESPN does it separately. Yeah, Skronik, Kyron, and Tyree all fumbled today, and all 3 of those fumbles were lost. So 3 turnovers this game. We still won pretty big. That's a testament to this team that we could overcome those mistakes. But like I said already, we can't be making those mistakes in the first place. And we can get away with it against Boston College, but we can't get away with it against Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson again. any of those teams in this playoff region, maybe a team like Florida, etc., the teams can capitalize off crazy mistakes like that. So we got to stop putting the ball on the ground. We were a super sound team when it came to not fumbling the rock last year, and I feel like we've been struggling on it more than usual this season, which is something you don't want to see. Hopefully they can refocus on it and get it freaking locked down for once. I love Kyron, but he's starting to get a tendency to fumble this ball, but hold on to it. The Tyree one was off a bad snap from Book, and Tyree just did not connect right on that handoff. Obviously, that's something they want to work on. It's something that hasn't presented itself as an issue until now. Hopefully, it's just a one-time, one-off kind of deal, and they can get that worked out. Hey. Okay, sorry, I saw some college football transfer news. A Virginia defensive tackle just transferred. I don't think we need him, but I don't know. Hey, who knows? Okay, so now let's get back to the actual stats that I wanted to talk about. Let's get to some positives, so everyone, we can calm down. I got my little rant out of the way about criticizing the team and the fumbles, because the fumbles drove me crazy. This game still stressed me out. Every game does. Those fumbles were the main reason for the stress. But the offense, for the most part, was relatively consistent. When they didn't turn the ball over, they were moving the ball. They had an excellent second quarter, putting up 21 points. Slowed down a bit in the second half, only doing 14. But they were starting to play way more conservatively in that fourth quarter and whatnot, like you kind of expect when you have a big lead. So Book on the day had another excellent game, 20 completions on 27 attempts. It's not giving me the completion percentage, but it's safe to say it's pretty high. He had a 97.6 QBR according to ESPN. That's pretty darn good. 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. So he's still not turning the ball over through the air, which is nice to see. Obviously, he had that fumble against Clemson, but that's also rare too. 1 pick on the year, I believe, 1 fumble on the year. So overall, good job by Book. Game managing, which I know he probably doesn't want to be called a game manager, but reality is he kind of is. But these last few games, he stepped up the level too, because 3 touchdowns, almost 300 yards. It's very good for Book standards. Especially for our offense that we pride ourselves on running the ball. Getting that much through the air was nice to see. Pretty solid stuff right there. Let's see. What else can we really say? This Book is looked better. I mean, I think we all see that. That Duke game, he struggled pretty mightily. I'm not going to lie, that first game of the year. I critiqued him a decent amount. If you go back and watch any of those post-game reactions, I've given him his fair share. I defend him a decent amount, but I do criticize him too, because sometimes he just misses throws or doesn't see people open. He's still not seeing people open at times. There's a couple plays where like he had Meyer open across the middle or something like that, and instead he gains 1 yard on a little rush that's basically a sack or something like that instead, which is unfortunate. But these mistakes haven't killed us yet. I just hopefully, like I said, Book just keep growing, keep continuing to improve. These last 2 games have been his best of the year, so that's something you love to see. All he's got to do is just see some more open guys. He's already doing well, not turning the ball over, and he's been pretty efficient with the ball too. 28-27 is not bad at all. Not as many overthrows as there has been in the past couple of games, so that's nice to see as well. Rushing wise, a pretty solid day on the ground again. It was balanced, but the carries were really spread out today. I think that's in part due to Kyron got shaken up a little bit relatively early into the game, but because of how the game was going, Kelly just decided to keep him out as a precaution. Luckily, we don't have to worry. He will be back in time for North Carolina. If we played this week, he probably would have played this week as well, so the injury wasn't super serious. Just a precaution, like, hey, we're up pretty big. No need to, run out Kyron and just give him a ton of carries when we don't have to. So today that means we got increased snaps for the freshman Chris Tyree, and I believe he's a sophomore. He might be a redshirt sophomore, in Sibo Flemister. Book was actually our leading rusher, which is another showcase. I think we're finally starting to utilize. Sorry, but I don't know. I'm messing with that. It's making clicking sounds. Utilizing Book's rushing ability more and more. We saw that against Clemson when we called some actual dedicated quarterback runs. I think it's important to use his skill sets fully. His feet have been something Book has utilized, but I don't think as a coaching staff they've really utilized fully to the best of their abilities, you know what I mean? So I think it's nice to see, because Book has that talent. He is a scrambling mobile quarterback. I think some of his best throws are actually when he's out of the pocket. So just continuing to expand on his mobility and his skill set is something you love to see, and it just shows another layer in how good his game was. 85 rushing yards and a touchdown that go with his 283 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. So 4 touchdown, 300-plus yard day for Ian Book in total. It's something you love to see. Chris Tyree, the freshman running back, is who I told you got the most carries out of anyone this game, with 17. I'd say he made pretty good work of them, getting 74 yards on those 17 carries, averaging 4.4 yards per carry. Anything above 4 is pretty good, relatively average. Not bad at all. So Sebo Flemister had himself a day. On only 10 carries, he managed to get 53 yards for 5.3 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. You love to see it. Dude runs hard every time he gives the ball. It's a player you love to see. He wasn't talked about much coming into camp. Honestly, our whole running back room was kind of a question mark. A lot of people thought Jafar Armstrong would end up being like the starter. He's actually a backup wide receiver now. But it's what you love to see. The emergence of Flemister and Kyron have been excellent to see. Obviously, Sebo's more on that. He's kind of that third running back now, right behind the freshman Tyree, and obviously Williams is our established starter. But it's nice to see anytime Williams gets that moment, he's taking advantage of it. He's running hard. He's running dudes over. Real physical runner. Can pound the ball right up the middle, and he gets results, obviously. 5.3 yards per carry and 2 touchdowns. He did get shaken up, unfortunately, towards the end of the game. But from what I heard, I believe that they said it wasn't that serious. I'll check on that real quick. I'm going to see if anything else has developed. I don't know. Hopefully he's back in time for the North Carolina game, and if he's not, worst case, we still have Tyree and Williams, who we know are more than capable, and Jafar could just be backup running back, since he's a backup wide receiver now. He could easily just be a backup running back when needed. But I just want to give Flemister the credit where credit's due. The kid he's run hard every time he gets his chance. He had a great game against USF 2, I believe. Any other times he's gotten carries, he's made the most of them, and you love to see it. Kid runs hard. That's all you got to say. Kyron Williams, as I mentioned, didn't get much action today. 9 carries for 37 yards. Not crazy impressive stats, obviously. He still averaged 4.1 yards per carry, and like I said, he got hit pretty hard at one point and was just kind of held out of the game. He could have played. He could have went back. I'm sure he kind of wanted to, but Kelly, I think, did the smart thing. It's like, why risk it? We have a bye week after this. Let's just get you fully healthy. Obviously, there's been some wear and tear as he's been our bell cow back all year. So he'll get the break he deserves, and he'll get to come back firing against North Carolina, where hopefully he can make a big impact. And then Avery Davis had a reverse, I would imagine, for 29 yards. Good play by AD there. Avery Davis is really coming onto his own recently. I want you to check the tapes because I told you guys about this. I said Avery Davis, this is really his first year where he's finally got a true role he's committed to and he's going to be solely focused on, and he's getting playing time. So each game he's just going to continue to grow because, like I said, he wasn't a natural wide receiver. Came here as a quarterback, moved the running back, moved the corner. Now he's finally a receiver. I think we found his spot, and he's just continuing to improve day in and day out at a position he wasn't naturally supposed to be at. And so the growth of this wide receiver unit has been very clear. Obviously, I was critical of him early in the season, as I'm sure you know if you watched any of those videos. But I did mention I've obviously been way more than willing to change my opinion on stuff. And this receiving room has really impressed me. I mentioned, was it a game or two ago, or one of the previews, I said these wide receivers are only going to get better. With the fact that Bennett missed a lot of time due to hamstring injuries, he's just going to continue and improve. And that Davis was new to the position. And I was right on both cases, as Skowronek and Davis both had excellent days today. That Saturday. Davis didn't get a lot of receptions, but he made the most of the ones he got. He's becoming a deep threat of sorts, which is not kind of what I expected because he plays more of that slot role. You'd think he'd get more pick plays kind of stuff in the middle of the field. But 2 catches for 70 yards from Avery Davis, another pretty good game for him. No touchdown this time, but obviously he was kind of a hero of that Clemson game on that final drive, so huge shout out to AD. The team seems to love him. I think our fans, we should just know about him and respect him as much as possible, because in his situation, there's a lot of guys that would have just transferred away from the program. We've already seen it. We've had 3 people transfer away already, getting backup roles. Davis came in as a quarterback and switched positions 4 different times, but he stuck through it. He's still a Golden Domer. He's a true Irish guy, man, and it's worked out tremendously as he's one of our best receivers now, and it's something you love to see, man. So shout out to Davis, all the hard work he's putting in. Never thought about leaving the program. You got to respect guys like that, just true Irish dudes in and out. And yeah, love to see it. And there's a chance he gets to stick around due to the COVID thing. So that's a whole other issue. We'll talk about that in the off season. Who stays? Who That's going to be a mess for every team. So look forward to that. But hey, next wide receiver is the one I talked about already with you guys that I said he'd continue to improve as he got more practice time. Hamstring injuries in general have limited him all camp. He missed a lot of the preseason stuff we had back before COVID shut everything down fully. He missed some of that. And then he also missed time in the regular season due to the hamstring issues. But he's healthy now. The last 2 games he's made his mark. This game he had 5 receptions for 63 yards and 3 touchdowns. The 3 tutties were amazing. He totally mossed a BC defender on, I think that was the first touchdown. That's an excellent play. If you haven't seen it, find it on Twitter, YouTube, something. It's a great play if you just look, maybe if you look up Bennett's Chronic, you'll see it. Enough to give Chad Ochocinco shouted him out on Twitter, so that's kind of nice to see. Not a Bengals fan at all. Hate the Bengals. Go Steelers. But, I mean, that's a good receiver complimenting a Notre Dame receiver. It usually means a good thing. Bennett did have the fumble, which is unfortunate. The guy came behind, knocked the ball loose. Just keep 2 hands on the ball. I mean, they'll just got to keep working on fumbling issues with the team as a whole, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the dude scored 21 points for us. 63 yards. Very efficient day from him. 5 receptions on 6 targets. Not sure if he dropped one. I'm guessing it was just an overthrow or just didn't connect. Same with Javon, who actually also had 5 receptions on 6 targets for 48 yards. No touchdowns, but had a pretty solid game. Like I said, got his hands on the ball when it went his way. He had more of like what I thought a Davis game would be, I guess, kind of shorter routes. He averaged 9.6 yards per catch. But solid game, solid hands. He's continuing to improve as well, as obviously none of our receivers had a lot of playing time before this season. Sebo had 1 catch for 27 yards. It's something you love to see. It was probably a screenplay, I'd imagine. And Williams made his presence felt through the air, too, as he had 4 receptions for 37 yards, which actually matched his rushing yard total before he got pulled from the game due to the hit that I mentioned earlier. Lawrence Keys got some playing time today. Later in the game, ended up with 2 catches for 26 yards. It's nice to see. Getting him involved a little bit. He's what I think most people thought would probably be our starting slot guy this season. Davis won the starting spot, and obviously it looks like that was the right decision as of now. But it's good to get Keys playing time, as he will obviously be a part of the future Notre Dame wide receiver room if Davis leaves after this season or the year, even the year after. So shout out to Keys getting some playing time. Michael Mayer had his quietest night of the season. Not horrible. I mean, sometimes it happens. Sometimes guys just don't get the targets you'd think they would. The day was a lot more wide receiver based. It just shows you the growth of the wide receivers, that they got the lion's share of the targets. With Meyer, the only tight end that got targeted this game, and there's only 2 targets, the tight ends all game. Both went to Meyer. 1 catch for 12 yards. Not bad. Efficient. Good catch. Fought for yards on that play, too, I believe, like he always does. You can throw him the ball short of the sticks, and he'll still make sure he gets that first down for you. So shout out to Meyer for that. Jonathan Dorr did miss a field goal, which is unfortunate. I can't remember how long it was. It's a 40-something yarder. Hopefully we clean that up a little bit. He did really good against Clemson, though, so I'm not going to hate. Just, clean it up a bit. Not a big deal. He's pretty efficient in general. He's a pretty solid kicker. Probably one of the better ones in college football. Gotta knock on wood in case, never know. Hit all 6 extra points, though, so good job there. Chris Tyree averaged 21 yards per return on kick return duties, 4 of them for 84 yards. Not bad at all. I do get a little annoyed sometimes when he takes it out and he doesn't make it back to the 25, which is where we'd get it if he just fair catches the ball. But hey, what can you do? Every now and then there's a chance he breaks one, might as well take it. Solano's doing his job at punt returns. Obviously nothing flashy at all. He can just catch the ball and not fumble, and that's the reason he's really on punt returns. But it's a cool story, right? The walk-on getting playing time, getting to be the punt returner for Notre Dame. So shout out to Salerno for doing his job right. No fumbles. That's all I'm really going to ask for. Clearly, I think they had Keys at punt return in the past, and we're going to have Austin there, who is out for the year, unfortunately. But Keys, I think, put the ball on the ground at least once. So maybe we'll get to see Keys work his way back in that area, but Salerno's not fumbling the ball. And for now, that's good enough for me. So really, the offense and the special teams, they all had pretty good days today. I mean, it's pretty abundantly clear when you put up 45 points. Of course, your offense is going to have a pretty solid day. Those 3 fumbles meant we left points off the board. You don't want to see those. You can't put the ball on the ground. So obviously, that's my biggest complaint with this offense. Do not turn the ball over. But other than that, what do you want to say, right? Did we not punt? Shout out to our punter. We didn't punt, apparently. According to ESPN and Bleacher Report, I don't see any stats for Notre Dame punting, which means we did not punt once all game. So if that's the case, I really feel like we did. But if we didn't, shout out to the offense. Again, that's incredibly efficient gameplay. If you don't have to punt once, that means you had a very, very good game. I mean, it'd be hard to say otherwise, right? I don't see a punt. So, I mean, what do you want to do, right? So, shout out for that. So, my offensive player of the game, it's a tough one, sort of. I think Book had an excellent game again, but I'm going to give it to Skoranek this time just because 3 touchdowns is really impressive. And it's just impressive, and you don't get to see it a lot. I'm pretty sure I gave Book the offensive player of the game last week against Clemson, so we're going to give it to Bennett today. Don't fumble. The fumble almost makes me want to give it to Book instead of you, but 63 yards, catching all but one of your targets and 3 touchdowns is kind of hard to argue against. Plus, you completely mossed the DB to get that first one on a beautiful play. So, shout out Bennett Skoranek, the transfer from Northwestern's finally getting... he's really making a name for himself finally after shaking off the hamstring issues. Hopefully he continues to grow and improve along with the rest of this wide receiver room. Now let's go to the defense. We'll talk about some of the stats here. Crawford, I don't know, because I remember it seemed like he was getting beat in coverage a decent amount, but he still put up numbers. Obviously, 8 tackles by the safety isn't always ideal because that probably means guys are getting to that second level. But 2 TFLs and a sack was nice. I mean, he was still around the line of scrimmage. We use him efficiently. Drew White had a pretty good game with 7 tackles. That's something you like to see. Kyle Hamilton, 4 tackles. Isaiah Pryor got a lot of playing time. Now that I'm looking at it, they don't show a single stat for Owusu Koromoa. So it looks like JOK, the Joker, didn't play. He hardly played. He really didn't play that much. So that's a star guy. We gave a lot of rest. He registered 1 pass defense according to ESPN. No tackles, no nothing. So obviously, when our biggest impact player has no stats, and we still win pretty big, that's nice to see. Pryor is who I guess got the playing time. He's listed as the backup at that rover position, and he ended up with 3 tackles. Not bad for Pryor. Some good game experience to have, considering that Owusu is more than likely gone after this year. Pryor will probably be the next starter at that position, unless a freshman or something really wows, etc., etc. Tariq Bracy had 3 tackles. Jack Kaiser, who made the most of his playing time again, he balled out when he got to be a starter against USF. It looks like he's earned a rotational role again, and this time he made the most of it again, getting 3 tackles, a TFL, and an interception. So it looks like Kaiser, after this game, he's got to be on the field. I think they're going to work him into a rotation for almost certain now. It's kind of undeniable now what he's been doing. Excellent games both times he's really gotten to see the field. Nick McLeod, decent day by him. 3 tackles, doesn't show any pass defenses or INTs. Kurt Hinish had 2 TFLs and 2 tackles. Good job. Another good game for Kurt. Clarence Lewis ended up with 2 tackles as well in the playing time he got. I thought the corners are decent. They probably could have done better, obviously. Boston College is a pass-first team, and they were relatively effective. They threw for 272 yards on us, including Jaleel Gale, who had 105 yards on this. I don't know who was covering him, but they got to do better. Whoever was on Flowers did an excellent job. I think we play a lot of zone too, though, so to be fair. But people really stepped up on shutting down Zay Flowers. I mean, the kid had 13 targets, but only caught 3 of them for 25 yards. Did have a touchdown, though, which is unfortunate, but hey, we shut him down for the most part. The secondary, like I said, wasn't fantastic today. It was definitely suspect the last 2 games where these teams have been killing us through the air. The run defense was there still, I believe. Let's check. Yeah, we held them. They had 100-something rushing yards, but we held their running back to 51 yards. Actually, the run defense was kind of suspect too, but they did not really run the ball, so that worked out to our favor. But maybe we're game planning for that pass attack, which does make sense because that's what BC's known for. But they're running back at 9 carries, but 51 yards, almost averaging 6 per carry. Phil scrambled a couple times. Phil Dracovich's scrambling ability definitely cost this defense a little bit. There's sometimes you just got to wrap him up, and we failed to do that. We missed like 4 sacks at least where he was able to make a play. It's one play, it looked like freaking Patrick Mahomes. It annoyed me because he's not that good, but he shrugged off 2 sacks and threw like a 51-yard bomb or something stupid like that. So we left sacks off the board for sure. We only ended the game with 1 sack, which is rather unfortunate. I think we were close. We were close a lot, like I said, but he was just able to escape. That's credit. You want to give credit to Phil too, but you also got to make sure it's like defense. Come on, guys, we got to wrap these dudes up. Tackling issues have been a little bit present as of late. Clemson had a couple times where these wide receivers shrugged off like 4 guys. We definitely can't have that happening. Just work on some of this fundamental stuff. Just wrap these dudes up. We could add a lot more sacks today. But shout out to Crawford for getting the 1 sack of the day. We did have 2 picks. Kyle Hamilton had an interception that was taken off the board by moronic refs. They called a face mask on, I believe it was Bo Bauer. That didn't happen. Like they showed the replay. I don't see a face mask at all. The announcers just shrugged it off and say crap about it. BC already scored on that drive. So add that to the fact, like I said, Notre Dame won bigger than it was. BC would have had 7 less points if the refs weren't morons and would have given us that interception to Kyle Hamilton. That probably would have sealed the game. So shout out to Hamilton. He had a pick too in my eyes. Great game by him. Yeah, defense did decent. They did their job. Like I said, we played some backups towards the end too. So obviously, I think some of those numbers aren't as heavy if we don't play the whole game. I don't know who I'm gonna give defensive player of the game. I do think it's a good defense. I think we just need to continue to wrap guys up and hopefully we can start forcing some more turnovers. We had 2 today. Really could have been 3 with the Hamilton INT, but whatever. So I'm going to give the player game on defense to Kaiser. I have to. I think he's the only one who had the interception that stood. Great pick by him. Kind of helped us get a lot of momentum there. 3 tackles and a TFL. So shout out Jack Kaiser making the most of his limited playing time. I think it was an Indiana kid who's finally getting a fair shake with the team. So shout out to Kaiser. So there you guys go. That's my players of the game. Bendis Koronic and Jack Kaiser did big impacts for us. No preview this week because we don't play anyone, so just enjoy watching other people play. Maybe watch North Carolina get a scouting report in or something like that. But there it is, guys. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought about this game, if I'm being too harsh, too nice, if you have a different opinion on players of the game than I do, what you think we could improve on, and what you think we did really well. Just any comments at all, discussions you want to talk about at all in the comment section below. I'd be more than willing to talk. I love responding to comments. Click over here for my Notre Dame playlist. It has all my previews and post-game reactions. Over here is where you can subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot. I'm trying to hit 140 subscribers relatively soon and be a huge deal. I'm stuck at 131 now. I actually lost one, which is rather unfortunate to say the least. And over here is just a random video of mine that YouTube decided to recommend for you. So check that out too if you want. Thank you guys so much for watching once again. This is KMA Preston. Please make sure to like this video. Tell your friends about it if they're Notre Dame fans as well. Once again, my intro's always run long. Hopefully you know this by now. But either way, guys, thank you for watching. This is KMA Preston signing out. Go Irish.